I think I'm tough all the time, but it's tough love. And you know, the reality is that I see these girls and I think of it as a serious career. It's not just winning a competition. We're offering them a sort of a career option here, where they can go on and not just win $100,000 in one photo shoot, but work for years and potentially build their life in the entertainment industry. So with that in mind, you really want to sort of guide them as much as possible, and you've only got a few months to do it. So you have to be tough in order to drill it into them that if they get this right, they can be making some, serious money and have a serious career and have serious opportunity. The first time I saw Amina was at the runway show in New York at the very first episode, and I got to say, she was a knockout. Every single one of the judges were like, "Oh my goodness, there could possibly be our new winner," and I thought, wow, it's that clear. I mean, she had a fantastic walk, great body, amazing presence, beautiful skin, hair was blowing in the wind. That being said, she didn't photograph as well as we hoped initially. She got better, and she definitely had moments, and I know that photographers enjoyed shooting her, but it really didn't translate, and she had struggled up until now, often with her actual her angles and what have you. But what a beauty, and a lot of potential there. Alison was one of my favorites, and I think was a favorite of all the judges. The fashion industry loves a kooky kind of girl. Fashion also loves unusual beauty, and Alison is obviously not the girl next door. She is she's striking, she's stunning, but she's not classically sort of pretty. But the fashion industry loves that. We love sort of the quirks and the sort of what you wouldn't classify as sort of regular beauty, and those big saucer eyes that she had that photographed so well. And she was a true chameleon. In every sort of shoot, she would the last thing you would expect would her to have such presence, and she really does. But in person, she like disappeared. She really became like a little mouse. But she won everyone's heart over, and again, very, very powerful contestant, and a sort of silent sort of weapon almost, because you wouldn't expect her. You wouldn't sort of suspect her to be the one who would be up in the top three. But guess what? She's there, and she has an incredible portfolio. Tiana. Tiana's one of those girls that, for me, didn't jump out in the crowd. But she was extremely charming and charismatic. And I've been on America's Next Top Model long enough to know that you can't make rash decisions early on in the competition. Because quite frankly, the girls you think are the weakest become the strongest, and the girls who are the strongest become the weakest, because often the strongest girls have so much confidence initially that they think they don't have to develop. Tiana just worked and worked and worked, got better and better and better, and guess what? She photographs possibly as one of the best photogenic girls in the competition, not just this season, but ever. And people were surprised. The guest judges kept saying, like, "My goodness, I just didn't think that she had it in her." But she would just totally change on set. Her issue is delivering that in person. She really needs to learn to basically bring that top model in person, so that people, when they meet her, go, "Oh yeah, this girl's a star." They don't have to imagine it. I think that's what we need. We need the combination of all three girls pushed into one, and then maybe we have our top model.
America's Next Top Model is... Tiana!
Cycle 13 is about to start shooting. That's why I'm back in Los Angeles for the next month or so. Yes, we're having the new cycle. The girls, the height criteria is now below 5'7", not above 5'7". And people might say, well, that's silly. I thought models had to be Amazonian. Well, you don't. Many agencies, like Wilhelmina, for example, one of the biggest and best agencies in the world, has a petite division, and they specialize on having beauty models. And beauty models are all about the face. And quite frankly, that's where some of the biggest money is in the industry. Perfume ads and beauty and skincare. It's all about the face, and it doesn't really matter how tall you are. So, CoverGirl is our big sponsor on America's Next Top Model, so it makes a lot of sense for us. Not to mention some of the biggest supermodels of all time, Twiggy, who's only 5'5", Kate Moss, who's only 5'6.5", both below 5'7". So you can't say there haven't been any before.